Something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister Talk. When you need someone who understands, I know what you're missing. Sister Talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk. Sister, 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 sister talk, sister.
Hi, this is Deetra Kelsey, and you're watching Sister Talk TV show. You know, this year is our 5th anniversary of holding Sister Talk TV show at Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Thanks to Zakis Z Starman, who created this, who was his brainchild, his idea. We're still going strong. With me today, I am so happy to have this person here with me. I've always seen him throughout the years in Harlem, just walking and talking and doing his thing in the subways, out of the subways. He is a person that you can approach and talk to no matter who you are. Senator Bill Perkins. Yes. Who is Senator Bill Perkins? Where are you from?
I'm a native New Yorker.
Okay.
Born in the old Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx.
Wow, okay.
And raised for a part of my life in the Bronx. I was very fortunate, blessed with a mother by the name of Helen.
Oh, really?
Who raised me and my 3 brothers. And then we moved into Harlem just before we became teenagers. And so we were raised basically in Harlem. I went to a school called Collegiate School for boys.
Yeah, you got a scholarship.
Yeah,
that
full
was
scholarship. A full scholarship. And so it was affordable.
Right, okay.
Otherwise, I would have had to pay about $35,000 a year.
So where was this school
Collegiate
at?
School is in New York City. I was very fortunate from that point of view as well, because I did not want to go to a boarding school outside of the city. And
so you were destined. Your parents knew that you were going to achieve higher education more than public school.
They knew that I was going to achieve higher education one way or another.
At such a young age,
you know, my family is very education oriented.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it wasn't a choice.
Where are your parents from?
From New York.
New York
for the most part. My mother, from the Bronx, though my grandmother came out of West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And my grandfather came out of West Virginia. And in fact, I'm named after my grandfather. His name was William.
Okay.
So in any case, you know, I went to collegiate, and then from collegiate I graduated from Brown University.
And you got a scholarship for that also, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the sisters. You know,
The sisters,
Sister Talk TV show, and this is Women's History Month.
Yay.
I just want to know, what are you and your office doing for your women constituents?
The political organization that I founded that was sort of the springboard for my activism in the neighborhood is called the Sojourner Truth Democratic Club.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so we founded that club in tribute to obviously her and the role that she has historically played, but also in recognition of my mother, my grandmother, and all the mothers of our community and sisters of our community who have played such a leadership role, not simply in nourishing us, but also in terms of creating opportunities above and beyond their family.
Okay, let's take this phone call. Caller, welcome to Sister Talk TV show. My guest today is Senator Bill Perkins. What do you have to say and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Monica from Manhattan, Deetra.
Hi, Monica, how are you?
I'm great.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to return to the topic of education.
Okay.
Because, you know, certainly that is critical for our country to be successful. And I wanted to get the Senator's viewpoint on the President's proposal for free tuition for junior colleges, because, you know, certainly enabling more education for people is great. Does he have any thoughts on that, or does he have any other ideas about that?
Okay, did you say free tuition? Free tuition for colleges?
Junior college.
Junior college, okay. All right, so...
You know, I think that's a great question and a very timely question as we are going through a period of redefining sometimes who we are, and in that redefining, we move away from that which made us as good as we are. In New York City, in its grandness moments, understood the value of free tuition and the value of education. And so I'm surely supportive of free tuition. It was a hallmark of our city university system, and many of the giants of our city and of our nation benefited from that. And so it's unfortunate that that approach was to some extent pulled back on. But I think that higher education, whether it be in terms of community colleges or four-year colleges, is a great investment in our young people. And the more we do that type of investment in our young people, the more they feel that they are cherished, and the more they feel that they have a way to not only succeed but also to give back. And so when you have a community like New York City, where you are encouraging young people and supporting them in terms of their higher education, it's very, very likely that upon their success they will return home.
Who else? What other women have shaped you?
Well, I have this tremendous woman that I wake up to in the morning, is my wife, so you can be sure.
So maybe I have a picture of her also.
Her name is Pam. Hi, Pam. I think she's probably at her hairdresser's getting her hair twisted.
Okay. Is she in politics or?
Yes and no. She used to be a Democratic district leader. She now works with the New York City Board of Elections. She's sort of in charge.
Okay.
And so, in a sense, she is in politics. She's in government, city government, but she's very active in the arena.
I was telling you before the show that I think you're one of the few politicians, probably the only politician here in New York City that doesn't have a car. Like I was telling you on the beginning, I've always seen him throughout the years just walking that walk. Not only do you walk that walk, you talk that talk, because I said before, you are very approachable. I see you in the subway talking to people. I see you coming out of the subway talking to people. You're going in, very cool. You're cool, I gotta give you that. Going in the subway.
So I brag about my monthly Metro card. Monthly Metro card, ladies and gentlemen. This is another treasure of our city. In addition to our public education, our higher education opportunities, we have one of the best public transportation systems. One criticism they always had about us, you only see them when it's time for an election.
Nope, that's not true with you.
So I promise them, you will never say that about me.
Nope.
In fact, you might say just the opposite.
Yeah.
But you won't say that you only see me when it's time for an election. So
let's talk about get your butt checked. What's that all about?
Well, I am a cancer survivor. So I had to have a colonoscopy and go through certain procedures. And so, having suffered through that, I decided to turn a bad into a campaign to encourage our brothers to get their butts checked. And so Zaki, can you hear me, Zaki?
He can hear you.
Get your butt checked. It's Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and it doesn't hurt.
Get your butt checked.
And then they would have to suffer their loss of you, and that's not nice, and that's not necessary.
So after you got the cancer, you got it treated and all that, you decided to become a more serious runner, take your health more seriously.
Well, your health is your wealth.
Your health is your wealth. You
try living without it.
Yeah, I understand that you were about to be involved in, or still involved in, the Half Harlem Marathon. What's that all about?
That is no such thing.
That's no such thing.
It was a mistake, apparently, that someone attempted to do, and without being disparaging about anybody's character or anything, it was not the right thing to do. It was not being done the right way. So we had to put a stop to that.
You shut it down.
We shut it down. I want to thank Will Sanchez and others for alerting me to this unfortunate mistake. and being so supportive.
But you went to the man. You went up to the man to talk to him.
We spoke frankly in my office, and it turns out that it was a mistake.
How could he do that without permits and all that? From what I understand,
Well,
no
he
permit.
couldn't, but nevertheless,
But he was still taking money
by having this internet partnership with somebody in California. He would tell people to go there to pay to get into the race. People believing that type of technology and arrangement was copacetic, was kosher, was good. They started paying.
And so
when I asked the person on the other end, by the way, do you know who you're dealing with? He said, no, we don't have anything to do with that. We just
take
provide
the money,
the service. I says, well, you are accountable because people are believing in this race because of your service. People believe that the internet service, a way of paying, must mean it's legitimate.
Right,
and it's not.
And it's not, yeah, because there's a big scam with the IRS right now. People are calling and saying that you better pay this money, and the most that somebody has paid has been $500,000. I want to talk about Albany. I want to talk about your peers in Albany. Mayor de Blasio, who you supported, Governor Cuomo. Think they're doing a good job now?
I think for the most part, speaking first of the Mayor de Blasio, I was amongst the first people to support him. He and I served together.
De Blasio?
Yes, in City Council. And I believe that he has a progressive vision that speaks to the needs of the kind of constituency that I represent, and all New Yorkers for that matter. And I believe he has the integrity and the vision that's needed for this period of time. Now, the alternative candidate was Bill Thompson. This is not to say anything negative about him, but I thought Bill de Blasio, the other Bill, would be the best choice. Fortunately, I was right as far as him winning, and I think that for the most part, he is living up to my expectations. Now, obviously, there's been some bumps in the road, and I assume...
As expected.
As expected, and I assume that we won't agree on everything. But I do believe that coming after Mayor Bloomberg, de Blasio was, to say the least, a breath of fresh air.
Wow.
We finally have a vision for our city in someone that recognizes all of the city, that is not in bed, so to speak, with the real estate interests of our city, and therefore is interested in what working families and all of our communities need, whether it's in terms of education, whether it's in terms of public safety, so on and so forth. Now, he has had some bumpy moments.
Right.
I think it was outrageous the way the PBA union demonstrated against him. I thought it was over the top and disrespectful. And
I think a lot of people agreed with that, who's not, in favor of de Blasio because it was a funeral. And it was just, like you said, it was really disrespectful.
It was in a way, from my point of view, if the military that protects this country was to turn their back on our president, it would be considered mutiny. So there are some significant challenges. When you talk about Cuomo, already we're seeing a bumping of the heads between de Blasio and Cuomo, particularly in the area of education and this whole question of charter schools, which is another form of privatizing, for-profit, the public sector. So where we had public schools for all of our children, nobody was profiting, so to speak, from that point of view. Now we have this other phenomena called charter schools where people are making a lot of money, and in fact, they're not necessarily measuring up in terms of being a better experience for our children.
People don't know.
The statistics do not show that charter schools are working. It shows that our parents want their children in a better place than maybe where they're being offered.
I didn't know that public money was going into the charter schools.
It's all public money.
I did not know that, and that money could go into the public schools instead of the charter schools. So they have the great education that you had as a child, correct?
So Andrew Cuomo, unfortunately, is complicit with those who are moving in the direction of privatizing our public schools.
Wow, isn't that something? Hey, let's move on. President Obama, you were the first in New York City to support President Obama.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton was running. And a lot of people owe Hillary Clinton a favor because she gave a lot of favors out. But you stood out and said, I think this is the better person.
Right.
That was mighty bold of you. Courageous of you, I think.
Well, my wife wouldn't have wanted me to do anything different.
I heard that.
So
nor your mom or your grandma, right?
So the boldness might not have been mine.
Right,
But nevertheless, it was the right thing to do. I was familiar with Obama when he was a state senator, and I appreciated some of the work that he was trying to do in that capacity. And I thought that his vision was the kind of vision that made sense, and that there was a historic moment at hand, not just for the black community, but for this country. There was a vision of change that he offered, and I think that he has lived up to. And so while he is not perfect, and obviously the circumstances surrounding him to govern are not perfect either. He's under a great deal of pressure, a great deal of challenges. But nevertheless, I think if only he was elected, as far as I'm concerned, that would have been great anyway.
Right.
Primarily because, you know, our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren have seen a black president.
Yes, yes.
And I'm not talking about just our black children and our black grandchildren.
Everybody,
all of these. So we've broken a very important historic barrier. But be that as it may, he still has been a good president in terms of delivering and in terms of reaching out beyond where other presidents may have reached out, particularly in terms of the third world and Africa.
Sister, sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, sister, sister. Ooh, sister talk.